good you're here. Once again, the book is called The Flower of Freedom. It's an original book, and we're on chapter 24. It's called Getting One's Bearings. Your seat is ready for you. Settle in. As always, the book and my presentation are presented with all the rights reserved. Thanks for sharing this experience with us. If you're ready, so am I. Lunch progressed smoothly, with maids buzzing in and out with additional courses. Aunt Paulette ate like a bird and mentioned that while their manners were not as bad as she feared they might be, she would soon have them up to standard. An etiquette coach had been retained for 2 days hence. She beamed, and then she added that an elocution coach had been hired to give them polish. She beamed at her husband that she would have these two presentable in no time. He seemed to grimace an apology that he could not verbalize. After lunch, Marie asked if they might be permitted to take a nap. "Very sensible, my dear," said Uncle Aki, and then, "Of course." And he walked them to their rooms as Aunt Paulette waved a manicured hand from the sofa in the salon. After waiting a minute or two, Marie peeked out the door of her room, and she surreptitiously entered the hallway and then Bertie's room. "I was wondering how long it would take you," he whispered. "What do you think?" "Well, it's not exactly a prison sentence, is it?" Marie responded. "It goes without saying that I will miss all of you, but there's not much to complain about in the accommodations. I'm pretty sure that I can tough it out as long as I know that you are all okay. How are you doing?" "Better than I expected, I guess. I thought this was going to be tense, but your uncle is really being nice to me. I'm not sure I would be so easy with someone I thought was the villain of your life." "Anyone who thinks you're the villain of anyone's life is deluded, Bertie. He should have nothing but gratitude for all that you and Mama and Papa did for me." She nodded with conviction. "Have you noticed the way his wife keeps looking at me? What's that about?" "It's not that creepy look that some old people give young people. It's some sort of weird curiosity that I cannot figure out. I keep wanting to ask her what she wants to know." "Yes, I noticed, and I think you're right. It's more curiosity than predatory. But I do not know what to make of it either. Just watch your step. After all, we are both uncouth and lowly Canadians from the backwoods. We have accounts of all the best couturiers," Marie mimicked, with a wicked grin. "Don't knock at Marie when in Paris. Act like a Parisian. She seems committed to finding you a date." "Bertie, I am not going looking for a date. I'm going to be a doctor," she reminded him. "I know, Marie, but I'm glad that I'm not the one who has to convince her of that." He grinned. "She looks like she wishes to have you married off by next spring," he chuckled. Marie bristled. She should think again. That made Bertie laugh, and Marie shushed him. "We're supposed to be napping." "What time do you want to go back and be sociable again?" He tried to cooperate. "I'm tired. I'm going back to my boudoir to stare into my empty closets," she joked, and then she peeked out the door to ensure that the hallway was clear. Off she went, and Bertie was alone until she knocked on his wall 2 hours later. Soon she knocked on his door to see if he was ready. Over the next 2 weeks, Marie and Bertie gained lots of polish, courtesy of the vision of Aunt Paulette and the experience and expertise of Francois Domaine and Pierre Trudeau. First, the etiquette instructor came to call. and then the expert in elocution came to help them become acceptable members of Parisian high society. Pierre would come weekly for most of Marie's first year, and Bertie just got the highlights during his visit. It was only 3 visits on consecutive days for them to learn the proper way to eat, leave a room, say hello and goodbye, and a variety of other things that did not seem small to Aunt Paulette. Once, when she was out of the room, Francois told them that there was a simple secret. All you have to do, whenever you are in doubt, is to be kind. Defer to the other person's highest best. For example, if there's a parking spot that is right near the door and another a bit further away, remember that someone who is elderly, infirm, or who has small children will be less able to walk the greater distance than you are. It's a small thing. We call it kindness or thoughtfulness, but in the end, those small considerations make the world run more smoothly for everyone. Be certain before you choose that way of life that there are many who will take advantage of those kindnesses. Think of each kindness a bit like small change. You can spare it without breaking the bank, and anyone who steals it shows the world the condition of their heart. You do not tell your aunt that I told you, though. She belongs to a different world where one must take anything one can get and keep it away from others. He winked just before Aunt Paulette walked back into the room. I think I have done all that I can do, Madame, he said to Aunt Paulette. Fine, Francois. Find the maid in the kitchen. She will pay you for your services and usher you out the servants' exit. Goodbye, Paulette told him, and Bertie and Marie smiled and waved goodbye. Thank you, Marie said. We'll never forget your lessons. You may sometimes forget them, but that's okay if you remember to be kind, he said as he left. Kind? Echoed Aunt Paulette. What on earth is he talking about? That's the end of chapter 24 of The Flower of Freedom, and we hope you come back for chapter 25. Thanks for being here.